Hey crafters, welcome into Guys Craft 2. My name is John, and thanks so much for joining me this afternoon. I will tell you, it has been a crazy work week and a crazy weekend in just trying to get things ready, get things put back together, and just make sense of everything that's going on, right? Sorry for the late um, posting as far as going live today. I completely forgot about it until like 10 minutes ago. So I appreciate those regulars that are here. Welcome to all the new subscribers. So appreciate you joining and being part of Guys Craft 2. We just hit November 1st, 2,500 subscribers. So welcome. Thanks for being interested, and thanks for joining, and thanks for being part of this crazy journey that we have. Right, we started flipping the house this weekend. I did get all the stuff outside put away for Halloween, and started working on all the really fall stuff. I didn't feel like putting Christmas up yet. And I think part of it is just being here in Phoenix, right, where we're still, like, today was supposed to be 89. I don't know how close we got to that, or if we actually got into the 90s. It's just interesting. I was talking to my daughter the other day, and she was telling me, I don't know, they were getting ready for trick or treat and that. And of course, she's got sweatshirts on and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, yeah, you live where it's where cold weather is, right? Because we just don't have that. So I still think sometimes it takes me a little while to get in the spirit, in the mood. And it doesn't hurt, right, that I enjoy Halloween and that. So, excuse me, I did get all that put, taken down and put away, but still um, not quite ready to go full blown Christmas, but we are going fall, right? So we'll see how it goes. So let's see who is here, who is in the house this afternoon. So Katrina says a little early. I didn't want to be late with the time change. So I was looking at Facebook this afternoon and realized, oh yeah, the rest of the world changed times, or at least the U.S. did, right, yesterday. So because we don't change time in Arizona, I just don't pay attention to it in that. So this is 4 o'clock Arizona time. It stays 4 o'clock Arizona time, but I know for the East Coasters and that it bounces us around. And I appreciate that you're still here and still willing to put up with me at this time. So thanks, Miss Katrina. Welcome in. Stitcher's here. She said, I just got in time. Remembered it's 6 now, not 7. Yeah, see how crazy. Falling back, I think, does have its advantages in that. Yeah, the fact that we don't change time just makes it so much easier. It's kind of nice, right? I don't have to worry about changing all the clocks and stuff. Brian, hey, Brian, welcome in. Who else? Brian says, I'm ready for a little break. I took down my Halloween decorations, cleaned. Tomorrow I will decorate Thanksgiving. Yeah, we're having Thanksgiving this year. So I think that's part of it too, is I want to just, I want to make sure that we have Thanksgiving, but at the same time, we'll have Christmas up, right? I can't, there's no way that John would ever be able to wait till then. And I've been playing Christmas music all weekend. And yes, I've already watched 3 Hallmark movies between Friday and today. So, and 2 of those were new movies. So, and Haul Out the Halloween was amazing. If you didn't see that one, it goes with Haul Out the Holly from Hallmark. And so it was a cool one to watch. What else? Trina says, I'm still working on the fall quilt. I may be done by fall next year at the rate I'm going. I understand that. Believe me, we actually got the long arm working today. So the quilt that is on the long arm, I think is going to be probably my favorite for this year. I'm really excited. I'll be sharing that later differently. So I'm not going to share it initially on my channel, but I will be sharing it and you all will get a chance to see it. And it's actually a small quilt. It's more crib size than it is even twin size. So it really is more like a lap quilt, probably crib size. And the intent of that was that I wanted to use it as a wall hanging, because these quilts get big, right? So it's funny. My partner keeps saying, don't you ever do bigger quilts? And then yet I start looking around and it's like all I've got is big quilts. I don't have some of the smaller quilts that I would like to have. So we'll see. It just all takes time, right? Hey, Russ, welcome in. Thanks for being here. He says, I can mock you, John, because we get an extra hour of sleep and you didn't. That's true. Very true. And then we'll mock you in spring, right? When you lose it. But yeah, it's just interesting. I have to say, I don't miss jumping back and forth, but I feel like we do anyways, just because, most of our friends, a lot of family and all that is on the East Coast or Central and that. So we always are making the adjustment to figure out if it's too early to call them, too late to call them, whatever. Who else? Good old Nightbot popped in. Quilter 824, Janet. Hey, Janet, thanks for being here this afternoon. Thanks for joining. Nikki is in. She says, good evening. Welcome in, Nikki. Thanks for being on with us. Brian says, I love that gnome quilt. I'll tell you a story about the gnome quilt in just a minute. Brian, Susan is here. Hey, Susan, welcome in. Melissa says, I was surprised to see you pop on at 6. Yeah, for me, see, it's just normal, right? So it does, it just feels normal for me. But yeah, I would, and I don't know if some of the other, I'm guessing most of the other content creators, right, aren't adjusting their times, but yet, depending on where you watch them from, we have to adjust our times, right? I didn't get hardly any time watch today. I was doing so much stuff, and I don't have a real TV in here yet, so it makes it harder for me to stream. And then I'm just not so good about streaming it on my laptop, but I want to get that way. Melissa says it was code for trick or treat this year. Yeah, see, we didn't have any trick or treaters. She says she loves a shirt. How cute is that, right? So we're going to try to do a few fall shirts between now and Thanksgiving, and then we'll get into the Christmas shirts because Lord knows John has enough Christmas shirts for every day in December. Plus, we won't talk about the fact that we actually have more, and we added more to the collection this year. Brian says the chubby short gnome at the top is his favorite. I love the gnome quilt, Nikki. I wish we didn't change time. Me either. Jackie. Hey, Jackie. Thanks for being in this afternoon. Thanks for joining. Stitching Life Together. Miss Amanda is here. Thanks for joining. Hey, Judy. Thanks for being on with us. Susan's here. Trying to get caught up. Zaza's here. She says, hi, John, everyone. The clock's changing has confused me because Arizona doesn't. Right. See, so it just makes it even worse that the fact that I think us and Hawaii are the only states that don't officially change times. Interesting enough, we have a big Indian reservation, northern Arizona, and they change times. So even though the entire state doesn't change, they choose to change time. So go figure. It's just too much. Hey, Carl, welcome in. Thanks for being here this afternoon. Trying to make sure Miss Linda's here. Hey, Miss Linda, thanks for being here. All right, I think I am getting caught up. All right, so no, I'm not. Every time I think I say that. Oh, Irish Lady Linda's here. Hey, welcome in. All right, so interesting story. This gnome quilt is not, I own it. I did not make the gnome quilt. This is the quilt, the famous, infamous quilt that started everything. So this is the quilt that I bought almost 4 years ago. I bought it at a craft fair. Uh, Sun City, the retirement community up here, has a craft fair on Thanksgiving weekend. So Black Friday and Saturday, they always have a big craft fair. It's all from their clubs and that they have over in Sun City, which is really cool. Um, but that said, I went to that. They've got ceramics, they do jewelry, they have their quilt clubs there. And it's really fun, right? Because they have like 3 different choirs and they come around. One comes around caroling. There's others that just do performances during the day and that. So it's a great experience. The worst thing is just trying to find a parking place to get halfway close to get in to see what's there. But anyways, really enjoyed the craft show. So that was 4 years ago. I found this quilt. I am in love with gnomes. I always have been. I love these gnomes. and the fact that she stitched everything in Disney. So it's probably hard to see on the on there, but all the gnomes are stitched out basically in cartoons and Disney's with Mickey Mouse and Winnie the Pooh and Elf's on there. Rudolph is actually on there. So, anyways, it just really appealed to me. And then she told me it was $350, and I was like, "Yeah, it's not worth $350." So I did not buy it. I did not sleep all night and drove back the next day. And she just chuckled and sold it to me for $350. Of course, I had no idea what quilting was, how much quilting cost, what fabric cost. I just remember my mother bought it for like 25 cents a spool, was thread. And we went to Cloth World all the time and she was doing stuff, but um, she didn't quilt. She actually did clothing. She did pantsuits back in the day. Long story short, I ended up buying it. And then about 2 years, year and a half later, thought, you know what? This is crazy. I would like to have some other quilts than that. I can make wreaths. I can do floral arrangements. I'm pretty crafty at the end of the day. All I need to do is get a sewing machine because it will save me so much money. And I'm glad Joydy's not here. It would save me so much money if I just bought a sewing machine and just did things on my own. So that is the famous quilt that started all of this craziness. I remember when I first started even laughing, thinking, um, all these crazy people out here, like half the people I met pretty early on in my quilting journey, they have multiple machines. And I'm like, why would anyone need more than one machine, right? Because you can only stitch on one at a time. So why do people have all of these machines? So we don't even want to get started there and how many machines John has and how we got that started. We won't talk about how many quilt kits John has and all that kind of stuff. So I really did buy in lock, stock, and barrel, but I did, as many probably have, joined as somewhat of a skeptic and thought everybody else was crazy and that I would bring some sanity to this craziness. But needless to say, I did not. So, anyways, but I'm always anxious to get that quilt out because that is the one that kind of started it all. I still love that quilt. I still sit and look at it and know that she did a lot of um, she put a lot of time and effort into that quilt, making it right and getting it done the way it should have been done. So always really happy to have that out as part of my Christmas. The quilt behind me is one that I have done. And what I did realize is while I have probably 10 full size Halloween quilts, mostly full size, probably, maybe one or two twins. I don't have any really that I would consider queen size, but all of that to say, when I started trying to put Christmas quilts out, I realized no, I don't have as many Christmas quilts, which is in itself just crazy. So, what that did tell me is I need to focus more on Christmas. And I think part of that is I have given them away and have, let them, given those to kids, my kids and that kind of stuff. See, I like Susan. Susan says you need a backup machine and you need a backup for when the backup is being serviced. I agree. So, I have two long arms. I have a sit down long arm and I have a computerized long arm. Now, computerized gets used a whole lot more, but that is what it is. But I can tell you guys, work was absolutely crazy this week. I am so jealous of you all that are retired. I am still looking forward to that. Part of one of the reasons we've started some of the Etsy store and some of that madness is to just help fund some of this craziness and give me a supplemental income at some point. But it has been a lot going on. It's just I sometimes wonder. It's like I mean I understand that I get paid well and what my responsibilities are and that, but I think sometimes these folks just have lost their mind and just don't realize how fortunate they are to have a good job with a good company. It's just amazing to me the things people will do and the risks that they're willing to take um, with their job. And it's just sad. It's just scary, really. But it is what it is. So this week I am excited. So next weekend, this weekend coming up, we are heading to the Rim Country Quilt Show. So it's at Mazazal Casino up outside of Payson. And so we will be there on Saturday. The show is Friday and Saturday. So I'm anxious to kind of go and get some ideas and see what's going on. We went to QuiltCon. QuiltCon was almost a little overwhelming looking at quilts and that. So we didn't really get to enjoy it like we didn't take advantage of it like we should have, is what I would say. It also says, I used to be like that. Why have more than one machine? Then I inherited a few. Then I said I wouldn't have more than 10. Oh, and she failed, failed, failed. Look at that. You go, girl. It's like when I started buying AccuQuilt, you only need so many dies, right? You buy one set of cubes and you can do like 96 different square. Yeah, but we won't talk about how many dies John has now for the AccuQuilt. And then, of course, they just had the big pre-Black Friday sale or whatever, so we had to add more to that. Brian says, laugh out loud, does I have 3 and more in the future. I remember Brian just got a new machine, best I remember, a very nice fancy machine right before he retired. Brenda says, I finally caught up on my quilting. No fancy free motion or long arm, just me and my tiresome shoulders from manhandling all that fabric. I put in 8 closet for gift giving Friday, right? I tell you what, and it really does when, I'm spoiled, right? Because now I've got the computerized long arm and that. Worse is the partner does most of that. I don't even look at it or fool with it. But that said, um, it's I remember my aunt in the family actually did do quilting, and I remember watching her, whatever you call it, right, loom or whatever, where she would stretch it out and sit there. And I remember she had very calloused hands from just where she stuck her finger with the needle so much. But just amazing, right? And she just made beautiful, beautiful quilts. And it's funny. I can do a quilt in a couple of weeks if I want to. I could probably do it faster, but where she used to only not be was only able to knock out a quilt, maybe once a year. And I do remember her doing double wedding ring. I do remember that quilt specifically, and it was just interesting to go over and see the progress and the stuff that she made, and yet it was a slow progress too, right? It just seemed like times that I'd be at her house, she'd be in almost like the same spot in that. And granted, she enjoyed sewing too. So she did everything. So my aunt was very, very crafty. So she would be amazed to think that I am jumped in and doing this now. Amanda says, I have 2 machines set up all the time and use both today because I was sewing some bags and needed the arm. Yeah, I get that. So I've got this machine. I've got Jake, who's my primary go-to, but Jake only really does piecing. Then I've got my DX4000, which is Hercules, we call him. I really like him because he's got the floating foot in that. I still need to finish out all those hot pads and stuff I started for Christmas. They're still not done. I think I've got 4 done. I think I've got 8 more to go. But those go on Hercules because he does such a better job than Jake does, just because of the floating foot and that. So that makes life so much easier. But then I've got Herbert over there that stays set up as single needle. And I actually did um, the Christmas envelope. I did get that stitched out today. Really disappointed. It's just a matter, it's just funny. you buy a pattern, they give you the color thread changes, but they only give you the directions on YouTube. So you've got to sit and watch the YouTube and kind of write down what the next steps are. And it's just like, really? And then it didn't finish out the way it was supposed to finish out. So I don't know if I'll end up doing those for the grandkids like I thought or not. I always do a test and was really glad that I did a test stitch before I really jumped into anything too more serious with that. So we'll see how that goes. Trina says that brand new roll of batting is shrinking fast. I tell you, it is amazing to me how fast, if you're really going, if you're long arming or just, however, right, if you're quilting, you can go through some batting pretty quick. I was just amazed. And of course, with the J store gone now, I haven't bought any batting for a while because I bought, I think, 4 rolls late last year. So, anyways, I haven't had to buy any anytime soon, but I've got 4 rolls, I think, still. And then I bought some single rolls because I just got to the point I hate fighting the big roll. So I ended up buying some pre-cut stuff because sometimes that's just easier, even though I know it's more expensive. But the last I actually bought was even cheaper than Joann's had it. I ended up going to Walmart of all places, and I had to wait a week to get it, so I'm sure it was a reseller that they use. But yeah, I got warm and stable or whatever it is. So it was exactly what I normally use. It just came through Walmart this time. So it's just funny. Um, you really have to look, right? Because I mean, our supplies are so expensive, and but we need them, right? And we use them, so you need to really look and see. Must be out of bobbin. Oh no, I didn't thread the needle. See, that's the one thing doesn't drive me crazy about Juki sometimes is Juki will sit here. Jake will stitch all day. He doesn't care if he's got bobbin, if he's got thread. That needle just goes up and down no matter what. So I stitched that whole row for nothing. So I am working on tote bags. So I decided amongst everything else I had going on that I'm going to stop and make a Christmas tote bag for my daughter, and she gets her pre-Christmas box in a couple of weeks. And I was like, oh, I need to hurry and knock this out, And I keep thinking, okay, because I was really kind of done, really, um, really kind of done with the kids and with everything I thought. And then I keep watching YouTube, and something else pops up, and like I'm sitting here watching Russ, and I listen to Russ and what he's working on in that, and he finishes, and then somebody else pops on with a different project, and I'm like, oh, I could do that. Oh, and I could knock that out real quick. So it's like, okay, John, the reason you're not getting anything done is because you keep stopping. I definitely have seen squirrel the last couple of weeks, and um, I just got a jelly roll pattern from Ray from Three Dudes Quilting because he had one that I really really liked. I think it's the amazing um, jelly roll quilt or whatever. I don't even remember the name now, but anyways, I grabbed that one, and because I knew I specifically had a jelly roll that would work with it. Then we won't even talk about the fact that I got to thinking, oh, that pattern would really be cool for a Tula Pink. So I just ordered the Tula Pink Gray work, and instead of using what I already had, I just ordered more. So my stash continues to grow. Amanda says, I have 2 more machines not set up and a serger. Yeah, it's funny when I became an affiliate with Juki Junkies, we were talking about how I ended up becoming a Juki fan, how I got into Juki, all of that. And then she was talking, Shannon from down there said, and don't forget about, sergers and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh my God, I've got a serger too. And of course, it's a Juki. And I've completely forgot. I would like to use my serger more. I've taken a couple of classes and have done a few things on it, but I definitely don't use it the way I would like to. Melissa says, here I am with a single machine. Melissa, you're not missing a thing, believe me. Susan says, I have a Juki, a Bernina, three singers ranging from 1948 to 1972, a Janome brother, an older Viking, and a 1990s Viking. Yeah, I have the whole collection, right? So I have a Bernina 480. I don't use it much. We're actually using that as one of the rental machines for the retreats. I do have a Viking Epic too, but I keep it set up purely to do embroidery on, and I like it to do the single stitch embroidery, right? Works out really well. It's how I did all the mug rugs. I do have a Viking tin needle that does other things, and you'll see some stuff starting to come off of that machine. And then, but really my workhorse go-to machines are Jukis. I've had a Janome, I had a Memory Craft. I ended up trading that in for one of the Jukis. I have still have the Bernina. I have the Jukis. I do have a Janome, old cheap one. It's like $500. I think I may have even paid like $300 for it. Was brand new. I actually got it from Overstock of all places, and but it's an old it's a brand new mechanical machine, but it does do zigzag, and I bought it specifically to use it for rope bowls because at the time I was running Bernina and my Berninas did not like doing rope bowls. So I ended up buying this cheap Janome and it did an amazing job on rope bowls, which now makes me think, okay, see, you haven't done a rope bowl for a while. It's time to do some rope bowls. We'll see. Um, Des Diablo said, I just tuned in. I got home from picking my quilt up from Mad Bee Quilting. The long arming came out. It's always so exciting, right? It's got to be. I know how exciting it is when we take something off the long arm here. And I have, if you remember this summer, because we got so far behind, I ended up taking four quilts to a local long armor, and it was killing me. She took like 3 weeks because it was funny. She goes, "Do you want me to just call you when I get each one done, or do you want to just wait and get all four at one time?" And I'm like, "Yeah, just do all four at one time. I don't want to make multiple trips." And then it was killing me how long it took her, which it didn't in reality, probably because I wasn't her only customer. But I was just like, guys, I'm really anxious to see it. So I know exactly how you feel, Miss Diablo. Brian, you definitely have more in your future. Absolutely. He says, I did get a machine that sews embroiders and I can program it to quilt in the hoop. I don't have the space for the long arm. Now, I get that. Um, I'm not sure we had the space. We just made the space. And it's just, fortunately, my partner is he's as bad with 3D printers and the laser as I am with sewing machines in my side. So it just works out really well, right? We both have our own interests. We're both doing our thing. So we make it work. Stitching life together. Amanda says, "Love your machine names. I need to name mine." Yep, all of mine are. All of my machines have been named, and all of my machines, with the exception of um, where I was not creative. My Grace Unique 21 is my long arm machine, and that machine got called Gracie. So I was not very creative with that name, but it just made sense to me. And so she is Gracie. And so she gets to finalize and put together all the stuff the men do, right? As far as piecing and putting the quilt tops together, she's the one that really finishes everything off and brings it home for us. Um, Susan says, part of me wants an embroidery machine, part of me doesn't. I get that actually. The problem for me is years ago, we had the custom embroidery business, and I was used to running multi needles and I had many machines. So my comfort is embroidery, and I still love doing embroidery. I still love playing with it and just doing those things. So that's how I ended up with it. Zaza says, I have 13 machines, two Janome, and the rest vintage singers and some vintage. Oh, you know what? I forgot I have I have a featherweight, Singer featherweight that I have yet to plug in. I hope one day to see. I have another machine to share with you all at some point. It's currently outside of the state of Arizona. being refurbished. And once that happens and it shows up, we will actually do a unboxing and talk about that machine in a little bit more detail. Hey, Miss Joydy, welcome in. You were missed. I called you out earlier, so you missed it. Why did you come on so early? It's see, 4 o'clock for me is still 4 o'clock, so I didn't even think about it, to be honest. So that's the problem with us never changing time. Oh, Katrina says I bought a roll of bamboo at Quilt Fest. When I bought the long arm, the lady that had the long arm did have a roll of bamboo. So I did buy that from her. She sold it to me separately, and I did buy it. And I've used it on one quilt. So the bamboo is so nice, but it's so expensive, right, compared to the warm and natural, and all the other that we use. So I selfishly keep it just for me. So if I know that quilt is mine and that's going to be a John quilt, then we put the bamboo on it. But if not, then we don't do it. All right. So what else? Oh, Susan says I love bamboo for hand quilting. It does feel nice. I will absolutely admit to that. Melissa says, "Are you ever really done?" I don't think any of us are ever really done, right? Like I was talking about Donna with Ying, right? Now it's been a couple of months ago. Was talking about, how long would it if you didn't buy anything? How long would it take before you ran out? And I can tell you now that we've flipped the studio and um, had to rearrange the house completely. It's embarrassing how much stuff I have and um, yeah, it's funny because now when you come into the studio, you can see really quickly how many quilt kits I have, how much fabric I have, how many bolts of fabric I have, and some of the charm packs and all that kind of stuff. And the sad thing is, it's not all in this room. I have two other rooms that are loaded. Like my Tula Pink is not even visible. I keep it hidden. So it's under lock and key. No one has any idea how much Tula Pink I have or where it is because I keep it hidden. So funny enough, people come in and think they have an idea of how much stuff I have, and yet you really don't. Well, Zaza says she's heard that the bamboo is lovely, but it's very expensive there. Crazy. Oh, Katrina says she packed up the grandkids' son and daughter-in-law's Christmas today. Her mother is taking her all of it to Florida relatives' Christmas to her parents for Thanksgiving, where the kids will go visit. How awesome is that? But it really all of a sudden, right? The holidays get short. It's like, well, wait a minute, because it's interesting enough. I happened to think the other day, my granddaughter's birthday is coming up, and I thought I need to find out like what she wants, which it really does work out so nice now, right? Because we have Amazon just has the um, Amazon has the oh my god, you know, pages where you can sign up and you can, um, put that together. And so my daughter usually does that. And I was like, oh, wow, I know her birthday's coming up. Her birthday's next weekend. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe. So, yeah, we will definitely be utilizing Amazon for her birthday this time around, which I normally do. I don't usually do anything creative or specific for them for birthdays and that. Mainly because there's only 2 years difference between her and the brother, and they get jealous really quick. So it's like whatever I do for one, I've got to try to do right then and there for the other. So it's it's like okay. I'd rather do it for Christmas and Halloween and those things. So that's when they typically get handmade stuff. But I do like to get them something handmade for most or a lot of the holidays. So this isn't coming out too bad. I just wanted to do, I'm just actually doing 1/4 inch on both sides of the seams as far as the quilting on this. I didn't want to over quilt this bag. Um, I'm actually using a um, medium weight, kind of lightweight, fusible. I don't like some of the like the soft and stable Annie likes to do, for her bags and that. I think it's so thick. I guess it really just depends on what type of tote bag and that you want to carry. I like something that's got some body to it, but less weight. So I tend to use this. This is, I think, Pelon 957, I think is what this is. Ended up, oh my gosh, what did you just do, John? Um, I ended up with, I think, two bolts of it from Joann's again. I think it was when they were right before they were going out of business. And, because I used to buy a ton from them over Christmas, right? I mean, a lot of this stuff was $8 a yard or whatever. And at the end of the year or Black Friday, you could get it for like $3 a yard. It just made such a difference. Hey, Jen, thanks for being here this afternoon. Welcome in. Jody says, laugh out loud, more Tula. I tell you what, I don't think you can ever have too much Tula, right? I think some people think, you can never have too much fabric and all that, but I kind of feel the same way about Tula. I don't think it's really possible to have too much Tula. And I actually just ordered a new kit um, for Tula. I joined a Tula club, so we'll see how that works out. Because I do want to do some things different in 2026. I do want to get a little bit more project focus. I do want to get more things accomplished. I feel like I've just been all over the place this year, even though I kept saying that wasn't going to be the case. It really did turn out to be that way, and it's just not who I am, and typically not how I function, especially at work, right? I'm a planner. I get things done, a very specific way. But we'll see. It's all right. It's all good. Brian, being a little tattletale. Only reason I have to skip the Tula drawer is because it's not in the design studio. It's in a different place, and I still have yet to get the cameras out. So we're hoping in the next 2 weeks. We're hoping by Thanksgiving to have all the cameras set up and ready to go. Diablo says, I have two basic, what I would consider learning machines, and my Juki that I use all the time. Yep. I think we all end up with that machine, right? The machine that finally makes sense for us. Yeah, Zaza says overall, sergers are good for trimming and skewering. I have not done that, but I will tell you, I really would like to get that out and try it. Somebody else had told me that before, and I haven't tried it. But I do wonder if it would make me happier with kind of getting the quilt put back together and getting it set up and ready to quilt out. So I think I am going to maybe get that out. Part of it is now that I've taken all this space in the house and made this design studio, I really have a lot more room that I'm not always pulling machines out because I'm lazy, guys. I will tell you that I enjoy. I just want I want everything accessible, and so the fact now that's why Herbert, the Viking, is set up, stays embroidery, and it's amazing the projects that I kick out from him. Stitches of Love, I realized I joined their Christmas program it's over. I have all the appliques to finish that Christmas lane, and so I got all of those out, thinking I might get to those today, but I didn't. But I've got 6 more applique to do, and they actually run pretty quick because they're all embroidery. So you get the stitch file for all of those, and so I just need to knock those out, trim them up, and then put that together. And so I do want to get that done because I think that will be cool. Um, they had a Halloween one that I just fell in love with, but I did stop myself from buying it. They just came out with a new one for 26, and I have to say I don't like it. It's just not me. But the one they had prior, man, I really had a hard time deciding if I wanted Christmas or Halloween, and I ended up getting the Christmas one. But I've just got to stop because I've got so many projects and I'm just having a hard time getting any of them done. It's the problem. Jody says to that, we're going to have to lock him out of the house and search. Unfortunately, you wouldn't have to search hard. All my everything is labeled. So I'm one of those geeks that I have to have. So every drawer, every cabinet, everything is labeled. So it's very easy to find my stuff because charm packs are labeled, Tula's labeled, layer cakes are labeled. Um, so I know exactly where everything is. Um, with the exception of the kits, I did have the kits sorted a little bit better. And then when I decided to move them in here, I actually just put them on bookshelves and that. So there's actually 3 shelves full, but not quite as organized. What else? Hey, Miss Alex, thanks for joining this afternoon. I hope things are going well for you this weekend and that you are keeping up. Zaza said, I'd like a laser to go with a 3D printer. Yeah, we bought the X tool and we've enjoyed it. I mean, it's just the problem is it's just like anything else, right? It's one more toy, it's one more thing to get done. He has a list of stuff John wants, and he just says that my wants grow faster than he can keep up with at times, and I can't complain. Poor guy, he does the best he can to try to keep up with all my whims. But he has a lot of stuff to get ready because we're going to do some special things for the quilting retreat, especially because it's our first one. And so we're trying to do some things that will be unique for that. And plus, I'd like to get some things for Guys Craft 2 and that done that we could actually put out on the Etsy store. And so we'll see. It is helping now that he's able to have his own space, just like I've had my own space. So because of that, things will start coming together better. I think it just takes time. And again, we both work full time, which just really interferes with everything. But unfortunately, if I don't go to work tomorrow, I won't have the money to pay for the toys I want. I won't be able to buy more fabric. And I can tell you, you would definitely see a dip in the economy. I just ordered more Harry Potter stuff last night. Um, so all of that fabric collection is coming out late November, and I can absolutely not wait to get that. And then some of it's not coming out till December. So but I'm really anxious to do something with the Harry Potter stuff, see what we can make happen there. Wow. It just takes time. I feel like I've been doing this the whole life and I'm still just getting one side of the panel done. Susan said I had a Viking, I had to retire. Her computer was going as the only one. And that was Olga. I like Olga. That's a cool name. 21 Pro long arming. Judy says it's Annabelle. My Juki is Jolene. See that? I think we spend so much time with our machines, it ends up they get named, right? Just because it's who they are. Jen says I use a sewing embroidery machine for quilt labels. I need to start doing that. I don't do that. I would really like to get into putting quilt labels on. Oh, wow. Katrina says I'm searching for a white like my mom had. Man, you're talking about a name from the past, right? So I don't know. I'm trying to think at the club. I don't think I've seen anyone here with a white. Because we have part of the quilt club. They have a group of just featherweight, enthusiasts and things like that. But I've heard of a white. So my mother stitched on a Kenmore. Joey says Azalita saved me. Joy, you're always welcome. If you ever made it to Phoenix, we would make sure that you got the complete and full tour. Oh, Balloon from Tucson. Hey, I missed you coming in. Welcome. Thanks for being here this afternoon. See, she's like me. We didn't change time. She says she uses her 1938 Singer featherweight for piecing. And again, I just haven't put mine together. I really need to. I'm assuming it works and works just fine. I just haven't had it out of the box. It's the problem. You get too many toys, but I had to have one. I definitely wanted one. Zaza says one of our machines finally became an official antique this year. The 1924 15,000 Singer. Wow. Look at that. Alex says, John, do you not trust us? Absolutely trust you all. Especially if you're in the other state. That works so much better. Oh, Amanda goes, oops, got another free Singer that's in a wood cabinet. Yep. I mean, I probably should have got mom's Kenmore. It's funny because she's apparently they've moved her into assisted living and that. But interesting enough, she traded the machine that she had used for years and years and got this newer Kenmore. And I know for a fact she hated it. I know she was always sorry that she had made the trade. And I don't think I think she just traded thinking she was getting something much better. Um, but really did not turn out to be the case for her. So I'm not sure what went on there. Diablo says, I've never made a tote bag before. May I know what kind of interfacing you are using? Yes, I am using Pellon 957. So it's a medium weight. So the way this tote bag pattern goes, it's charm squares. It's 5 across, 5 down. So it's 25 charm squares on the front, 25 charm squares on the back. Then you adhere it, iron it right to the interfacing, and then quilt it however you want to do. I'm following what I had found on YouTube and just doing the straight squares on it because I think that looked really cool. And then you've got to make the lining for it, and I've got to figure out what lining I'm going to put there. Then your handles, and then of course box your squares, and probably put about a 3 or 4 inch gusset in it, so it'll kind of stand up. So it is going to be a fairly large tote bag, but I know my daughter will drag it around everywhere because they're busy during the holidays back in Virginia. I bought some, and I should have shown you the webbing that I bought. I don't like making handles. A lot of people do, and that's fine. I don't like the way they turn out. I don't like the thickness. I've tried to use thinner batting and that in them, but I just don't think it works for me. It's not what I like, and so because of that, I ended up finding I went out to Missouri Star. I went out to Fat Quarter Shop. I went everywhere, and I really wanted Christmassy webbing to make the tote handles with, and ended up having to go to Amazon and get it. Amazon's the only place I found it, and in fact, I had to wait like 4 days to get it. So It wasn't even, it was probably a reseller on Amazon. So I got free shipping, but it did take like 4 days for me to get it, which is fine. But I'm still not ready for it. But it was really some cute um, webbing. So I'm kind of excited to see how that turns out. Hey guys, we're like 10 minutes. I've really just talked tonight. I'm sorry. It's just been that kind of day, I guess. We do have the Holiday Quilting Bee coming up. That is November 11th. It is Veterans Day. Please plan to be there. I have two more Villa Rosa patterns that we will give away tonight. And so we are doing the unfurled for the Holiday Quilting Bee. Please plan to join me. If you can only join 10 or 15 minutes, that's awesome. If you can join all 3 hours, that's great. We will be giving prizes away, 5 or 6 prizes. I am giving away one free admission to the New Year's Eve retreat. We held one spot back to give away this year. If you want to be entered in that for New Year's Eve, it's December 31st through January 4th. You cannot arrive before 11 a.m. on December 31st, and we have to be out of the retreat center 9 a.m. on January 4th, which is a Sunday. But if you're local or able to travel during that time and would like to be entered into the quilt retreat drawing, that will be drawn on November 11th. If you want to be entered, please send me an email to John, JOHN, at guyscraft2.com, and we will get your names entered into that drawing. So pretty excited about that. Most of the spots are filled. We have a couple yet that we're still trying to fill up, which just makes me so paranoid. All my friends and other folks that I know that do retreats keep telling me people just like to do things at the last minute. And I'm like, no, no, no. I plan like years in advance. I just can't imagine that people actually wait and do it so far, so close to the event. But it is what it is. If we don't fill up the last couple of spots, we don't, and that's fine too. But we still are giving one chance away to be entered. It's not transferable. There's no cash value. There's all that legal stuff to go with it. At the end of the day, we're giving one spot away for the New Year's Eve retreat. That said, if you want to be part of the Holiday Quilting Bee, or even if you don't and you just would like to have the pattern, if you will put exclamation point flag, FLAG, and we will draw in just a minute for those two. We'll select 2 people, or Nightbot will select 2 people, and I will get those in the mail to you this week. And hopefully things aren't as crazy. I've got travel this week, which just, I was so glad to work for a Phoenix-based company, knowing because it's a Phoenix-based company, I would not have to travel. And yet they still want me to go to conferences. They still want me to do other things. And it's like, guys, you're all just killing me. So this week I've got to go for 2.5 days to a conference, and it's just not what I want. Katrina says fusible fleece works well for totes too. Yeah, I agree. That's what this is. This is, I think it's 957, which seemed like a weird number to me on Pellon, but I like this weight in that. And I know you can get it from Walmart, Amazon, different places. Oh, and Amanda, I have no idea what's going on with it says Nightbot. Nightbot gets touchy. I have no idea what. I have no problem with you doing symbols. I have no idea what Nightbot's doing. Candace says, I just noticed your shirt. That's cute. Thank you. So I do try to rotate shirts around. You all know me. I just kind of my thing and kind of what we are into. Hey, Delia, thank you for joining this afternoon. I appreciate you dropping in. Katrina says, bring your label maker to my house and get busy. I am just one of those, it's just funny, right? Because I wasn't raised that way. My parents were not organized at all. My mom knew what room something was in. My dad was an electrician in that, yet he still wasn't that organized. Jordy says, are renting machines for the retreat? We are. So we are renting a few of the Chukis. We are renting Berninas. because this is our first retreat, we obviously have a select few machines to rent. But if we continue to do the retreats and it looks like that's something that we definitely need to offer, we will definitely be doing that. All right, guys, let me jump over to Nightbot, exclamation point flag, and let's see who gets free patterns this week. Um, Susan, Miss Susan, you are a winner of the unfurled pattern. So if you will send me an email to johnjohn at guyscraft2.com, I will get that in the mail to you this week. And the email address is scrolling. Hopefully you can see that at the bottom. All right, and let's do one more. I've got two left. I have two total to give away this week. And who else? Joydy, look at Miss Joydy. See, it was good that Joydy joined us today. So, Miss Joydy, if you send me your name and not name, if you send me your address, I will drop that in the post office this week for you. So, you and Susan, congrats to both of you. That is awesome. I so appreciate you all being here in that. Um, so I'm excited. I think there's so much getting ready to happen with the holidays. We are actually hosting some friends here for Thanksgiving. They're actually willing to bring some dishes, so we will be need to figure out what to ask them to bring. We ended up getting um, a 25-pound turkey. So there's going to be six of us. There could be seven, but there's going to be six or seven of us. And I ended up getting a 25-pound turkey. So needless to say, we will have plenty of turkey. My partner absolutely has to have mashed potatoes, and he loves his mashed potatoes. So that is what he will be making. I have to have corn pudding. And I have to have um, sorry, I'm trying to type in my email. I have to have corn pudding and Paula Deen mac and cheese. So that will be my contribution. So we'll see how that goes. So I did just put my email in the chat, john at guyscraft2.com. Oh, the ticker may be off. I see it scrolling on my side, but I'm not sure if it's scrolling on your all side or not. Um, StreamYard keeps changing things on me. So, and then interesting enough, we'll be switching software that I use for lives in a few weeks. So that'll make things even more interesting. But congrats to those that won tonight. I appreciate that. I have a busy week coming up, but crazy enough, next weekend we're going to the park home. We're going up to the Rim Country to see um, the quilt show up at Mazatao, whatever that casino is. And then I actually took Monday off. So I'll have a nice long weekend. I'll hopefully get a lot of things done for John on Monday. And then we'll have our quilt along, sew along on um, Tuesday. So I'm really anxious to do a holiday quilting bee. Still need to think about what we're doing Thanksgiving as far as that holiday quilting bee, and then think again about what we're going to do at Christmas. It's like boom, boom, boom. It just happens so fast. It's just amazing. Um, how fast this year has gone. I just I feel like it should be February. And I'm like, guys, I just had surgery. And interesting enough, I just told my daughter, I said, my granddaughter's turning 8, Ava Lynn. So that's her birthday next weekend. And you all have met her if y'all have been part of the channel for a while. So it's her birthday coming up. And I moved to Arizona when she was a year old. So it's like hard to believe, guys, I've been here a year. So, anyways, thanks for dropping in. Please hit thumbs up, all the stuff that YouTube algorithm likes. And as always, guys, until next time, happy crafting.